Welcome to Go Gettas podcast about we haven't quite decided yet, but we're going to do it anyway. I'm Colby.
And I'm a tiger wearing cowboy boots. You can call me Fee.
Oh, okay. So I know that you wrote a bunch of these down at the same time. Were you just
Yeah.
like, were you at work and then you were like, you know what? I think it's time to look at some furry porn.
I
That's what I imagine happened.
so even though you're not wrong, I don't do I don't do it at work. I because work PC is connected to
The leg bone.
everything so they can see everything.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So that's why I use my phone with bad connection.
mm-hmm.
So it reminds me of going back in the day on your dial-up internet connection
Mm-hmm.
and just letting things load really slowly. But
Yeah.
it's worth it for the furry porn.
God, I definitely do remember like being like, "Oh, a new Joe cartoon is out. I'm going to turn it on to download while I go eat dinner, and then by the time I get back it'll be done."
I do remember doing that a few times because I didn't have like a computer like a lot when I was younger.
Mhm.
But some of the times I did have a computer was like, oh, I'm on Newgrounds and Ego Raptor just is updating is making a new Metal Gear Awesome.
Mhm.
And I remember that was kind of a big one, so I had
Oh
to let
yeah.
that download for a while.
Yeah, Metal Gear Awesome 2 was a definitely a big one, definitely a big jump in quality, and as a result, a larger file. I
Yeah,
Fun fact, whenever we got dial-up internet, like so dial-up is supposed to be 56K, and
oh,
we our ISP was AOL because that's what my parents knew and used. And so I
as
only
did
found
everyone.
out later our internet speed was actually 4 times slower than 56K. It was
Oh,
14.4. Had no idea. Just thought that's how slow dial up was. And then when I got cable internet, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Or have you been hiding this the whole time?"
and you weren't gonna tell me this, parents. Just when I actually got a computer that we bought from like Walmart and it was mine, like I saved up money for it. We had cable internet through Cable One, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
I like really haven't had a computer up until then. I would always use friends,
Mm-hmm.
or we would have a computer that like I don't even know where we got it from, but like it was a house computer that we just had for a while and then had to give it back. I think like we had it like pay to own, but then
Oh.
we just decided it was like a net negative. I think they need the money for something else, so they gave the computer back. And till I
Mm-hmm.
finally got my own, and I mostly just use it like I use it today for watching internet videos, like fucking going to Nostalgia Critics Channel Awesome website,
Mm-hmm.
which was horrible. It
Oh
was
yeah.
slow. I hated doing it, and the Angry Video Game Nerd website
Mm-hmm.
just to watch new episodes.
Man, it's so crazy that since I mean 2005, 2006, there just hasn't been a better alternative than YouTube as far as like video platforms go, cuz you did have like that period of time where you couldn't just watch a video, it had to be a flash. And
Yeah.
so like it was Albino Black Sheep, E-Bombs World,
Oh
Newgrounds,
yeah.
um and then once it was like, oh, well, everybody's internet speed is good enough that we can just watch video on the internet. Then it was like YouTube is the platform. And since then, YouTube has always been the platform. And that sucks because like there's not an alternative. There's been a couple of times where like
People
Rooster Teeth in
try.
particular were like, our videos are going to come out on our website and then a month later they're going to appear on YouTube. And it's like, I don't know how successful that business decision has been, but like
Yeah.
I can't imagine there are too many creators out there that can be like, yeah, I'm going to release videos on my website. The end.
Dude, it got to a point to where like when creators like you go to my website like fucking normal boots, and they're
Yeah.
like you can watch the video like like a week or so before they're uploaded to YouTube, and I'm like I could just wait
Yeah.
because I did not want to go and navigate their fucking website.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I did, because sometimes they didn't back up old episodes, so I just wanted to go and see it.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll never catch me like on the day it comes out on their website
Yeah.
just like, oh, here it fucking comes. But like that was a thing, and that's
Hmm.
weird to think because now it's like, oh well, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everything's on YouTube, so
And not only
it's
that, like it's the whole impetus was like YouTube had been going through and it continues to go through adpocalypses every few years or so. And
yeah,
people were like, "Ah, oh, God, I all this happened, and now I made $40 this month, whereas I made $6,000 last month. This
yeah,
is not sustainable. I need to continue making money." And so everybody's like, "Okay, the clear solution is I'm going to upload my videos on my own website, and you can pay me money, and then you can watch those videos early." Like that
for
was just
free,
the clear solution. Well, yeah, some
for
of them were
free.
free. You would just put ads on your website, and that's how you would make money, like just
Well,
the ad
yeah,
revenue.
but that was like fucking when Channel Awesome got their strike on people because like they were like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, y'all, it's getting really hard. This was when the first like apocalypse came through.
Mm-hmm.
They were they're like, y'all need to watch our ads because we're not making enough money now. So watch our ads, which was against TOS. And then when like they got struck, they're like, well, we didn't even do anything.
What are you talking about?
So like it like Channel Awesome it was always so weird. Like it's always been a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love the nostalgia critic.
Mm-hmm.
I hate everyone else. Just like they had like 20 creators at one point and I'm like, do people watch them?
Yeah,
But
I
like
mean, they did and do kind of, but like the thing is, whenever because they brought in so many, whenever you do that, every new creator you bring in is someone who's like, oh yeah, I like your videos, I like your stuff creatively. I'm going to take a risk on you being an actual human piece of garbage, and unfortunately, you just kind of let some human garbage in sometimes, and that's just how it
yeah,
happens.
fucking like I for a while like I didn't know that people actually liked Spoonie.
Spoonie, yeah, Spoonie's the big
Look,
one that like besides the nostalgia critic, Spoonie was like a big creator that people watch. I watched this whole like 1 hour long documentary on like A, why Spoonie's a piece of shit, and two, why like Channel Awesome and him got into a huge fight and like how that all came about. And yeah, like Spoonie was like one of the other big people on the platform. But as a result, like while I'm watching this documentary, I could pick out like two or three people where I'm like, I think I saw like one of their videos, or like I think I saw like that person. God, what's that person's
yeah,
name? And then yeah, they would be like, oh, this other creator who's blah blah blah. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that's their name. Yeah, completely forgot.
yeah.
Just lost to time.
I so I never watched anyone, just specifically Nostalgia Critic. And then he had like three spin-offs, like fucking
Mm-hmm.
what's it called? He'd had like that the Chester A. Bum, I hated that. Um and then he stopped doing the bartender skit, which I really liked a lot, which was
Mm-hmm.
like video game bartender,
Uh-huh.
where he would just use a really fake English accent and he would draw a picture and then like calmly narrate when he met a video game character.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them were just like they were gay or their kids were gay or
I
just
mean, that was the era in which that was the joke. It was like
yeah,
he
he was
would
like
say some stuff for a few minutes and he'd be like, he had a big wiener too, and he loved him. Wait, what?
like I remember him like doing like a Donkey Kong one, and the Donkey Kong one was just like, oh, I'm having a bad day, and he's like, well, why? He's like, I just found out my son loves bananas.
God.
And then it was like, I think Simon Belmont was gay,
Hmm.
and like Princess Peach was cheating on Mario. There was a few, but like a lot of them were just end up that they were gay.
Hmm.
I thought it was funny. I liked that he drew different like things, and it was fun. I like that. I'm subscribed to him on YouTube,
Hmm.
but man, it takes a like nothing else to watch for me to watch his videos now because he's not like really. I'm not gonna say good, but he's
Hmm.
full of himself.
Yeah, no, I Doug Walker has been for a very long time. But like I don't know, because it used to be like sort of below the surface and sort of like incidental to like watching some of his stuff, but now it does seem like instead of being, because the nostalgia critic was always like, oh, this is like this sort of like bombastic kind of know-it-all dude who you like to make fun of, because like as much as sometimes you like agree with his takes or whatever, like he's so out there that you're like, oh, haha, what a big nerd. But then I think he lost kind of that part and was just like, these are my very correct opinions about how shitty every piece
Yeah.
of media is. And you're like, is anything good to you? Because like that shtick gets old at some period of time. Like at the very least, Angry Video Game Nerd, like Angry Video Game Nerd has some games that he'll play and he'll be like, actually, this one's not so bad. And he'll be like, this is frustrating and this is like terrible. Like he just came up with a video about the Hudson Hawk video game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I saw
at
that.
the end was like, yeah, I don't know, it's not that bad. And I was like, oh, okay, good.
I'm just mad at some aspects, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take a big dump on it.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Yeah. Or like
Eh,
fucking Angry Joe, just everything
Oh
that
my
everything
God.
that like those guys do, because that was such a big niche at the time, was like if you get angry and rant about something on the internet, people are gonna jerk off to it for sure. And
yeah, angry fucking reviewer.
yes, exactly. And so many people were doing it, but then like you get into that niche and then it like, I mean, Doug Walker got bit by it. Angry Video
Yeah.
Game Nerd got bit by it. I
Well,
imagine
he
Angry
started
Joe
it.
did. Um,
Like,
I mean, like they got bit by the fact that they kind of got tired of doing that, and then they put out something that's different, and then everybody goes, "Stay in your fucking lane, angry man," and he goes, "Okay, donkey diarrhea," and they're like, "Yeah, talk about poop more."
that's the thing with the AVGN. Like, he still sticks with his stick, but he doesn't write most of his scripts anymore.
Mhm.
I just saw like a 2-hour fucking introspective on him like
Mhm.
the other day. So like he was gotten to hot water because he does what's it called, Monster Madness every year,
Yep.
and he was caught plagiarizing
Mm.
a whole ass review for a movie, and he was like, I don't even write the scripts, I've been so busy. And he's like, but we talked to the guy, and apparently the beef, like they were looking through like stuff because he's never seen the movie, but he was
Oh.
going to talk about it. he was like
God.
it was like I had someone write a script, and apparently they're like that they copied it, put it into like Word, and it got mixed up with the script. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
fuck
shut
you.
up.
I'm
Like-
like, that didn't happen.
And listen, I completely believe, because like if you don't know, yeah, Angry Video Game Nerd, he every October was like Monster Madness, and I think it was a YouTube video every day for all of October, and it was
Yeah.
like reviewing an old horror movie or like an old like whatever, and they weren't long.
Yeah, they were like 3 to like 8 minutes long each.
Yeah, just like a short thing, some clips of a movie, a funny like piece of like written dialogue, and that was it, in and out. But that's 31 videos you have to like write, record, edit, and upload. And like, we do this podcast, and
Yeah.
I knew that like if we had an hour and a half of audio and I was going to have to like edit in fucking like graphics of things we talked about, or like closed captions, or anything that's like hard like that. Like if I had to manually do that, it wasn't going to get done, because that shit takes so long. And I imagine that like as he got bigger, number one, he now has 2 kids.
Yeah.
And he wrote and filmed and directed a movie, like a real one.
Yeah,
And like he's got a bunch of these different projects that are going on. And I like, spoiler alert, if you're young and you're listening to this and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep doing everything that I'm doing right now when I get old. Surprise, your energy level fucking tanks after you're 30. I don't know what happens, but like something in your 30s happens where like you wake up every morning and you go, this is the day where I'm gonna do stuff. First, I'm gonna do like this and this and that, and then, oh fuck, it's 4 p.m. already? Oh Jesus, okay, okay. Well,
Dude.
between laundry and cleaning the house and like going out to like grab groceries or whatever, I have to pick 2, because only 2 are gonna happen now. Shit.
dude, speaking of like being old and like not having energy, today I don't know what the fuck happened today. I woke up this morning and like I stretched and I had a fucking Charlie horse. I was like,
Oh.
fuck. And then like I was like, oh, I'm like walking off. So I, go to the bathroom like I do every morning after I get up. And then like I'm going to the bathroom, like I turn in a way and now my back just hurts. Fucking even now, my back fucking hurts. I've had to take Tylenol and I'm like I could still feel my leg a little stiff. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, fuck. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this?
God, what is happening to me? I just want to live.
I just wanted a quiet day.
I just
But
wanted to poop. Why? Yeah,
so like,
it's hard, man. Like, and those things sneak up on you because like so the first time that I hurt my back, like it's crazy. So hurting your back is one of those things where like people don't like, you hear the jokes about it, but people don't talk about how fucking serious it is. I hurt my back when I was 22. It was the next to last time I was moving into a dorm room for college, and I unpacked all my stuff. Everything was fine. And then that night, I was like, you know what? I'm going to play some Team Fortress 2 and eat some dinner and go to bed. I'm tired. And so in the middle of this TF2 match, I like stretched over the back of my chair to like pop my back. And I guess I did it too hard. And I gave myself a back spasm.
yeah.
And from that point onward, for the rest of my life now, anytime that I overextend my back the little bittiest bit, I get a back spasm for 2 days. And like that's just the cost of operation of being me now.
Yeah. Dude, I've had back problems since high school. Cause I remember one time, like I was putting my shirt on for school,
Mm-hmm.
and just like you pick your arms up and you put the shirt in.
Mm-hmm.
I did that, and I think I overextended,
Mm-hmm.
and then my back was just out, and I was like, oh, like I was short of breath. I was like, oh, I'm like, why
Yep.
does this hurt so bad?
Mm-hmm.
And like every once in a while, it'll happen, and it fucking sucks. It's like it pains to move. Like when you're sitting and like you're not moving, you're like, okay, this is fine. Just don't
Mm-hmm.
get up. And then like the minute you have to do something, you're like, oh, like, oh, it's like it's like someone put like something real heavy on your back, and it doesn't matter what like way you're in,
Mm-hmm.
it's just always there. And like
Mm-hmm.
it sucks. I hate it.
Yeah, and
Back pain is like
it's
oh,
horrific because like you don't think about how often you use your back to do any, because like legitimately sitting still in a chair, you use your back to stabilize yourself, and as a result, like while I have a back spasm, I sit like a bridge troll, because like you have to sit in such a way that muscle isn't activated at all. Like it has to either be scrunched up and no tension on it, or it has to be entirely stretched out, so much so that you're not applying like any actual muscle to it, you're just kind of stretching it. It has to be one of those two things, and like it sucks. Like people who go through like a lawsuit in which they're like, I broke my back. Speaking of which, we could talk about TwitchCon as a result of this.
I was gonna like if you didn't bring it up, I was gonna bring it up right when you were done.
Yup. So like yeah, people have been talked to about like people that have brought up these lawsuits about like, oh yeah, you injured my back, and all of them, even if they get like millions of dollars in settlement money, they're like, I would give it all away if my back would just stop fucking hurting.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah,
You
like
use
it's I don't know, it's very serious. It's a cultural like joke, but it sucks so bad.
yeah, just like they joke about it like in The Incredibles
Mm-hmm.
when like Mr. Incredible throws his back. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know that pain. I
Yeah.
fucking when he's like hunched over and like hobbling, I'm like, oh,
Oh
I'm like
shit.
that's me, dude. Fucking, but like speaking of back, the TwitchCon, dude. Fucking the negligence, the pure negligence.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were American Gladiator, like fucking fighting over this ball pit. If you don't know, TwitchCon is like VidCon, and if you don't know that, it's a convention where big creators of Twitch go in and have a get together and like basically meet fans, or like they fucking what are they called? They meet other people and do
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff, and just a good old convention.
Yeah.
Well, they had a ball pit there from a third party,
Mm-hmm.
and they were letting people American Gladiator style fight over it.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl, I guess, she is a streamer
Mm-hmm.
and an OnlyFan, I guess, model or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she won, and after she won, she jumps and does like a cheerleader, like toe touch, and falls in the pit. Breaks her back in two places,
Mm-hmm.
and then has to get her spine like fused in a few places and a metal rod. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, negligence part is they built that like what's it called? That foam pit completely wrong. Like it was 2 feet off the ground,
Yeah.
nothing past but the concrete floor.
Yeah, I think
And,
it was four, so it was 4 feet from like like number one, I've been in that convention center. It's the same place that San Diego Comic-Con is held, and it's this concrete floor, and from there they had a like walls, inflatable walls, and then foam pit. So if you've ever been to like YMCA or like a trampoline park where they have like a big foam pit, number one, those foam pits are super deep,
yeah,
or they'll do like what a wrestling ring does, and they'll make it they'll put it on top of a platform of plywood that is flexible, so
yeah,
it has some bounce and some give to it. And that's why, like, if you see a thing like that, like a gladiator circle that's like, built correctly, it's kind of high off the ground. You're kind of like 6 or 8 feet in the air because they have a whole bunch of stuff to catch you.
yeah. And like there's a bunch of like reinforced like padding so that way you're able to like go down and the thing absorbs like the shock
Mm-hmm.
and the impact. And none of that happened at Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl tweeted like her walking, and she was like, "Yeah, I did PT today. I walked a few steps." And then there was one where she was like, "Yeah, I tried to walk for a little while, and it hurt so much that I laid in bed for a couple hours crying."
Yep.
And it she could really sue not TwitchCon, I don't think, but the company
Mm-hmm.
for sure. That's a lawsuit
Yep.
because like she will never be the same.
No, I
And
mean, unequivocally, she's fucked. For the
yeah,
rest of her life, she will never have a normal back ever.
yeah, she was like, "Yeah, I can pee now, but Doc says I can't squirt anymore, so sorry,
Yeah,
OnlyFans."
so she's a Twitch streamer and like, yeah, OnlyFans person, and this is like so obviously this is like gonna set back her ability to make money for a while.
Oh yeah.
I will say, let me read you what she tweeted after. So she went to the hospital and said that her back was broken in two places. Now, here's the tweet that happened after surgery. She says, so surgery went well, 5 hours, 30 minutes, more fusions than expected, and bones completely crushed, and nerve damage to my bladder. Hopefully, I'll be
Oh
able to pee again in the near future. No more squirting, probably, but some bleeding around the bone, but overall doing good. So that's like horrific.
yeah, yeah. That's I know she's trying to be in good spirits, but man, that's just life altering. Like for real, for real. Like
And
she
like,
can't do it. She can't do hard labor. She can't
mhm.
like do anything.
There's like, she's not the only one, by the way. There was one other person
Uh,
who
dislocated the knee.
yeah, who got who like broke their wrist as well.
Really, the third person?
Yeah, so there were, I think, three people that had injuries. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I know the one about dislocating her knee, but like
Mhm.
that, I guess she walked it off. Uh, I didn't know about the wrist. I know someone else, like, I think broke their ankle, but not in the pit, just at TwitchCon being an idiot.
Yeah, let's say she
So,
the one who actually did like hurt her ankle. She said, once I jumped off and my foot hit the bottom, my ankle rolled and then my kneecap was on the side. I couldn't move. I almost passed out if it wasn't for one of the staff guys calming me down. Yeah, I know all about that. My wife fell off of a climbing wall, and it was so do you know like you probably don't know because you were the youngest one, but I mean
Yeah.
you probably have like baby cousins or whatever where like you're playing and then it's very clear that like one of them gets actually injured and you
Oh
look at
no.
them and instead of being like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" you go, "You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Everything's fine. Please don't cry. Please don't yell."
No, I've done that with my sister, so I know.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, good point. That is exactly what it was like because like my wife fell off and like hit the wall on their way down, and like hit
Jesus.
their ankle real hard, and then like they hit the foam pit, and I could see on their face no crying yet, just a lot of shock, and I was like. You're okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then it was like, I'm not okay. That was like, then it was legitimately an hour to get out of the climbing place because of how shitty they were. But like, that's
God.
God. It's one of those things where you're like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, that's because I can imagine, you know, you fall off, your knee cap just swings over to the side, and this Twitch dev person is like, "Oh, hey, it's bad. It's okay that you're alive. It's okay. We're
Yeah.
gonna get you a rolly chair, and we're gonna get you out of here."
Yeah. Just go cry where no one can see you. Just
Yeah, here before you
God.
leave, sign this waiver.
That's what they were saying. They were like, "Oh, they signed a waiver before they got in." You know, the waiver doesn't cover the negligence.
No, it doesn't. Like, if anybody ever tells you that, like, if you get injured in like a really freaky or like a freak accident or you were injured like on purpose due to negligence and people say well you signed a waiver so that means you can't you super can
Yeah.
number one you can sue anybody for anything whether or not you have grounds for it but number two, a waiver is just a way of telling you like, hey, you have acknowledged that this is a dangerous thing. But a waiver also doesn't say like, hey, we have set this up in such a way that like if you fall in a weird way, you like the whole rest of your life is just changed. That's not in the waiver.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. Like I really feel bad for that girl because she's gonna have to go through like months of PT
Mm-hmm.
and then she's not gonna want to go do that like fun. She can't do fun stuff like that anymore
Yeah.
without being like, man, am I gonna fuck my back up or is it gonna like just flare up? She's
Yeah.
gonna have flare ups as she gets older. God,
Yeah, my
just
wife like still if there's like a physical activity and they like have moved around too much or they're like stressed out. So like an interesting thing that no one ever tells you about depression is that depression can manifest itself in like inflammation in your joints. Which is fucked
oh,
up that like no one tells you that, but yeah, for my wife that's
I
how it manifests is like sometimes, you know, they're like feeling like unmotivated and like the typical symptoms of depression. But in addition to that, it's like, oh, my fingers hurt. My joints are such that like I'm like my whole shit is wrecked. Right. And so like as a result of that, if like they're having a depressive episode and they've like moved around enough, it's like, oh, cool. Glad that my goddamn ankle hurts again. You're like, eh.
now I'm depressed about that.
Yeah, and now
Just
it's like, well, if as a result, basically, if I ever want to go to a climbing gym again, I am doing that shit alone.
I'll go with you. I love rock wall climbing.
Yeah, dude. There's like a couple. Like, okay, so one of the cool things about living in a big city is that you get like really niche businesses. So we have like a Ninja Warrior gym here, and I'm like, oh shit, I
Oh
want to
fuck
go.
yeah. Dude, yeah, that's the thing. I've always wanted to go to a trampoline park or like something like that. That's always like that's always fun to me. I know I'm like not good anymore because I'm like overweight now, but that's still fun.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Um and a little off topic, I know you I don't know if we said it on podcast, but you and your wife are moving, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when that is, but I've already planned that when y'all move to go visit y'all, I've already planned out the airplane tickets.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, we're planning on moving out of Texas because of, you know, reasons. Um
yeah, Yeah, of
But
course.
like yeah, it's one of those things where here in town you get these like cool kind of like niche businesses or like weird things that you can do, and you start to question like, is this the only place where you can do some shit like this? And probably not, right? Like there's trampoline
Yeah.
parks other places. I know there's Ninja Warrior gyms in other cities and stuff, so like probably okay. But yeah, it's
Yeah, we got a trampoline park there in Corpus. I just no one ever wants to go with me. And
yeah.
it'll be weird like if I just go and I'm like, "Man, this is fun." They're like, "Oh, who are you here with?" Just me.
just me.
Just yeah, I just wanted to bounce around for a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
that's it, it's harsh because like um trampoline parks are basically intended for non-adults, and so if you show up as an adult to a trampoline park, you basically just have to bring a bunch of adults. You just have to say like, there are going to be 8 of us, that way we're all comfortable and we're all going to go play dodgeball in the dodgeball room together, and we're all going to go jump
yeah.
around on the trampolines and shit. Like everything is going to be okay. Because if you're just you and then you're playing dodgeball with a bunch of like, even if they're 12-year-olds, it's still like, I don't know about that.
Okay, well, in your case, it would look strange. In my case, I kind of just look like a little bit older teen.
True.
Maybe if I shaved, I could look maybe of age to this guy's could be by himself and it's fine.
Yeah,
I
like
just
19 or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. So I think I would be fine. I still wouldn't feel fine. It just it's really weird. Like all these things I want to do, but I'm like, man, no one around me is gonna go do it with me. Or like my sister would be down. It's just like it's weird. I always feel weird going and doing stuff with my sister because well we don't look like we're siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's like way better looking than I am, and like she's like our faces are a little different. You can't tell unless like you look at us that we look similar. So I feel weird. I'm like, man, I feel like people are like talking. She's like, where's that fucking skinny young girl with that big fat guy?
Yeah.
Just I feel weird like that when I go to the movies with her because she doesn't know anyone that likes to watch scary movies, and I fucking love scary movies.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the movies the other day to watch Smile. Fucking spoilers, it's a good movie.
Okay.
Um and I felt we like not a lot of people were there, but I had those fucking fleeting thoughts. I'm like, I bet fucking that the people are like, why is she with him? Ugh. And I know other people get that feeling, but like I get that feeling like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like even when I just go and hang around with my mom, like when I'm just with my mom, they're like, "Man, that's a fucking big old kid." Like this fucking mom.
Damn.
It's like really weird, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. That's just me.
I like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to it's kind of hard to go out, especially whenever you feel like people are looking at you. And that could be for a variety of reasons, like not just weight, but also like, oh, I injured myself and have a black eye. I hope that no one thinks that I'm being abused at home or like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't. I don't think I've ever had a black eye.
Really?
Like
Damn, look at you.
I, unless you count the dark rings under my eye from like not sleeping properly. But
You mean
I've
the dark
never
rings under
had.
my eyes that are there every day, all day, forever?
It's more noticeable on you because like you're very pale,
True.
and then your eyes are like just dark brown. Whereas like my eyes, like I'm moderately brown, and then like the dark rings under my eyes are just black.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like that's why my dad used to call me Rocket Raccoon. Because like I was not sleeping properly, so I had like the raccoon mask over my eyes.
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. That's just me. I feel weird when I go out, mostly because of my weight.
Yeah.
But I know no one's like really saying anything about it. I just my fucking mind's playing tricks with me.
Yeah, most people don't give a shit. It's like, I don't know. It's one of those things that you care about much more than other people care about. Cause like, it's very rare I know because I've hung out with you. There are definitely people that you see in public and you go, "What the fuck is up with them?" But it's rarely ever because they're fat.
Yeah.
It's always because
Um,
it's always a combo of things. It's like, oh, their shirt doesn't fit over their stomach, and they've got like a big grease stain down their shirt, and you're like, Jesus, take a shower, dude. Come on.
and, that's like a thing with me too. Like I always make sure like I always feel like people think I'm like stealing because
Mm-hmm.
I'm always like making sure my shirt is down, even though when it's already down, I'm like constantly pulling it down. I'm like, I don't want to be one of those fucking people where their belly's showing. I shower every day. I take care of myself, but
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like as soon as it comes up, people are like, hey, that guy's fucking shirt is up.
Hey, hey, that's illegal.
God. Yeah, and I also feel very awkward like when we go to a restaurant and then we're like, "Do you want a table or booth?" And I'm like, "Where do y'all want to sit?" And they want to sit in a booth and like my stomach is like pressed against like the table, but I have enough room to like just chill.
Yeah.
I always feel like every time someone walks by, they're like, "That guy barely fits in there."
Hey, hey, that guy's gonna break that table. I hope you have the cops on speed dial.
I hope you're gonna throw that fatty out. I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'll eat fast.
I'll be fast to get out of your way.
But yeah, like that's just me. I always see myself as too big to be doing normal things, and I know I'm not like that big,
Mm-hmm.
but like, uh, what is it like? Is depression you see yourself like bigger than you are?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I feel like that's like not only a depression thing. That's like basically anything where you're just like any amount of self perception is always warped.
yeah. I feel like a fucking blimp all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the truth. Well, it's partially the truth. It's just not as bad as I think it is.
Yes, correct.
But anyway, apart from self-reflection and depression, we did want to talk about anime.
Oh yes, there's a couple of interesting things that happened. One, there is a new trailer for a new Trigun.
Well, it's not the first one; it's the second one.
It is the second one.
And the okay, and I will tell you this off the bat:
Mhm.
the first trailer
Uh-huh.
didn't impress me.
Yep.
It looked, and I had some problems with it, with specifically the way Vash looked, and I kind of still do. I don't like the way his hair is like very fuckboyish,
Mhm.
but this trailer, I'm fine with it. I just I'm just okay with it.
Mhm.
Seeing like him more in motion and being like doing wacky zany things. I'm okay with it.
Man,
I've come around.
I like it's different. It's definitely different than the original series. It has kind of a different vibe. It has kind of a different like um kind of a different feel. Vash is a
Yeah.
little different, I would say. But
Yeah.
I think that's to its credit because like I don't know why, but I associate sort of old anime with like people like Doug Walker, where like
Oh,
like anime that was made like the humor of comedy anime that was made in like the 80s and like early 90s is just sort of this like loud over the top kind of like this is you said a thing, I'm gonna make a face about it, and like that's and I'm like that's just it's so cheap, it's so
well,
cheap and it's not funny anymore.
the thing about the original Trigun, I really like the hand drawn style more than I do the CG.
Yeah.
Mostly because everyone looked like they lived in this universe. They were all dirty,
Mm-hmm.
like they were like visibly disheveled. Like it Trigun is one of those animes where everything just fell in place right. The animation was good. The music was good.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was drawn on. Even if they weren't main characters, like in NPCs, they were drawn really good.
Yeah.
But I like that Ash in this like dirty horror world was bombastic and fucking and
Mhm.
silly
Yeah.
because like he was always getting in that bad situation because everyone was after him and they didn't know what he looked like. And when they found out what he looked like, they were like, "No, you're not
Ah,
Vash."
you're lying. Why are you lying to me? You scrub.
Yeah, you fucking scurvy dog. They introduced the characters in this new trailer, and
Mhm.
the new, I have to say, the new rendition of Meryl looks
Mhm.
so good. Like
Yeah.
she looks way better than the original,
Yep.
and she's like cute. She looks like she gets angry. She's really funny. And then there's another character named Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Robert De Niro, baby.
And I don't know if he was in the manga, but
Mhm.
like when it said it, I was like, fucking Robert De Niro.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is this like a code name for so? No, it's just straight up the guy's name. That's fucked up.
Yeah, no shit. And I wonder if they're gonna introduce what's her name, Millie.
Mhm.
I hope they do because she's Wolfwood's love interest.
Yeah.
And
Well.
I want to see what they do with her because she's like a tall, big, clumsy woman, and
Mhm.
I find that appealing.
Yeah. I wonder if she's like. I wonder if she's even in the manga.
I think
Because
she
like,
was.
what if she's not?
I think she was. Her and Meryl were in the manga, but I mean, I don't know if this follows the manga. Obviously, it doesn't because the Vash and everyone looks different.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. It's
uh,
uh
I
it's gonna be
I
interesting. I'm interested to see what's going to happen and like where they're taking this story.
I like the way Wolfwood looks. He looks actually pretty cool.
Yeah, Wolfwood
He,
actually looks pretty sick. I Wolfwood was one of the characters where I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm really kind of digging this vibe now.
yeah, and I like he says a line. He's like, what does he say? I'm not a preacher. I'm an undertaker. That
Hmm.
was one of the lines from the trailer, and I thought that looked pretty cool. He looked pretty funny.
Yeah.
His shirt is untucked and his jacket is like kind of disheveled. Looks pretty cool. I'm really digging it. And like in a blink and you miss it moment, you see an old character from the old anime in there.
Hmm.
And to me, it looked like the doctor who controlled that big guy from the original.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
And in like a split second, when they're just showing a couple of clips, you see him, and I'm like, that looks like that guy. That means that we're gonna get like a fight like that, and I'm really fucking in it.
You said
And then
ooh.
I think you see a scene where Vash is going through a town, from that episode where the whole town's fucking after him.
Hmm.
You see him like trying to avoid people and like jumping through windows and stuff, and I'm like, I hope they do that episode because that was one of my favorite episodes.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. I'm pretty excited to see like how things are going to be different because I think they clearly are, and like the sort of I don't know the CG art style is something that can bother people.
I think
Here,
they're getting better.
yeah, I think they're getting better at it, but I also really appreciate the thing that they're doing here, which is sort of like the Promare style of doing 3D, which like has less outlines,
Yeah.
and as a result, I think I don't know, it's sort of like integrated into the backgrounds easier. So for me, it's less kind of jarring because you see like even I've seen clips from Dragon Ball Superhero, and there's still a couple parts where you're like, or like if you watch like Baki the Grappler, there's
Yeah.
like some of the CG fights where you're like,
Not even the fight, just like even when they're just chilling, you're just like, oh.
yeah, it's ah.
It's like fucking video game cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just because like it's not like hand drawn where like when they move, you can't see like them cutting into like other things like when they especially like in the fights
Mm-hmm.
they're just trying to visualize the fight, but then you see like their arms kind of going through stuff, or like you see like dark outlines of like renders of like bricks and stuff,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, that's noticeable.
Yeah,
So
you're like, there's just something about this that isn't quite right, you know? And it's not necessarily that it looks bad. It's just like there's something about this that is tipping me off that this isn't quite what I want. I don't know if it's like the frame rate or if it's like something like that, but maybe it's like too consistent. I have no idea, but like there's something about CG that just kind of looks weird. But in things like Promare and in like the new Trigun, I
Yeah.
think the sort of like hyper colorful, like almost pastel kind of art style lends itself really well to this, because it's not trying to look like a traditional anime. It's not going for like the big like outlines and like thin like black lines to denote like, oh, this person is blushing, I'm gonna put like these 3 lines on their face or whatever. Like all that stuff
Yeah.
is basically removed, or
Yeah.
toned down or colored, more accurately, and so like it sort of looks better to me anyway.
Yeah. And another thing about like CG anime, it moves a lot slower.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for like an action anime.
Yeah.
Like you're expecting them to like move like really fast or react fast, but sometimes like they move pretty slow. So it
Mm-hmm.
like it's like I know these characters are strong and fast, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, and that's sort of a limitation of CG, where like if you like you're working with a model, right? So like it's hard to break that model, because like you're basically working with what's effectively a digital skeleton. And whenever you're drawing stuff, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do like sort of the animation wipe thing where like there's an in-between frame where like you kind of have like a rubber thing going on where like part of them moves but the rest of them stretches out, and like that sort of looks really good, while you're like while you're looking at it and while it's in motion, but one still frame at a time doesn't look that great. Whereas whenever you're using a 3D model and you're not sort of doing that stuff, like every frame sort of makes sense, but the animation as a whole is kind of stiff, or it's stiffer
Yeah.
than it could be if you're like hand drawing it. You have a lot less options, whenever you're using sort of a model like that, or at the very least, it's a lot harder to do things like, oh, I'm going to make him move so fast. You kind of can't, like his fingers kind of disappear, or like the outline around his face sort of goes away and it's almost like outshined by the rest of
Yeah.
like the stuff, you know.
It's like a smear frame.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. It's harder to do that.
it's going from like the character, and then if you go frame by frame, like they morph into like like a blob almost,
Yep.
that to convey like speed and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to do in CG, but you know what? I'm coming around because like there isn't many CG animes out there, and you know which one's a bad one. And if the story and everything looks good, that's fine. Like Baki and Kengan Ashura,
Mm-hmm.
uh, those are really good CG animes. People like Beastars, and I both like and dislike it because the manga, I read the manga, I'm way ahead, and I
Mm-hmm.
collect them, is
Like you
so
do.
much more uh expressive,
Mm-hmm.
and everything looks a lot better. Just even though I know they're not moving, but everything just looks a lot better. Whereas the anime, it's kind of, what can I say, like stilted. It feels stilted, and I kind of don't like that. And it doesn't have like the colors, and some of the big scenes don't convey like they do in the manga
Yep.
that I want to. Which it doesn't make the anime bad for people who only watch the anime. It's just I wish it had been 2D. So I
Yeah.
mean that.
I I've seen a couple of clips from that, and it has the same problem where it's like you have this sort of defined model, and it's hard to break out of what it's like made to look like. It's hard to be flexible with how it looks to like for the sake of the animation to look better. So yeah, I
Yeah,
get it. It's kind of weird.
yeah, and I'm not gonna like shit on that show because the first I didn't know anything about the manga until I saw the first season. Then I started buying the volumes.
Mm-hmm.
So that the anime was so good that it made me want to read the manga. Then after having read the manga, I'm just like, man, I wish it was in 2D.
Yeah, you're like,
It would
man, this anime sucks.
it made me it made me see the show differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, man, this could have been better if it was animated. These scenes that I've seen already a couple of times, but
Hmm.
what do you do? I'm just gonna enjoy both. Why not?
Yep. Yeah.
Uh,
No, I get it. It sort of makes sense. You know, you go back to the source, you find the better product, and then that's what you advocate.
yeah,
I
and
the other anime that
yeah,
sort of
I was
the
just gonna
other
say,
anime that sort of released a trailer that I think we both didn't see was
yeah,
Rurouni Kenshin. There's going to be a new Kenshin.
hell yeah. Now that is another one of my fucking classic. It came out around like when Trigun did.
Yep.
It's one of those animes that people fondly remember, and if you still watch it now, it's still good.
Yep.
And the trailer didn't fucking botch it. It looked beautiful. It looked good. I hope it's not a movie. I hope it's a show.
Yeah.
And
I think it is.
I feel like it is because they show literally the first scene from the first episode of the original anime of
Mhm.
him meeting what's her name? And then they intertwined that with him from like Samurai X killing people in the Edo period when he was the Batosai.
Yeah.
And my reaction to when Colby shared the trailer was He-10 fuck yeah style.
Yeah, it looks great. The animation on it looks great. The like the art style looks it looks a lot of the anime nowadays, especially if they're like based on something that's older, they like update the art style to be more modern, which is I think is lending this some favors because if you take a look
Yeah.
at Rurouni Kenshin's manga, you're like, "Oh yeah, that does look kind of dated." It's almost like you could sort of see like the origins of like One Piece in it. Um,
Mm,
and nowadays One Piece looks different, especially the anime. The
very.
anime changes how the manga looks a little bit.
Yeah.
To its credit, like the show looks incredible now.
Yeah.
And I think
That
they're doing the same thing with Kenshin, and it's working.
yeah, it's working really good. It looks so good. I'm stoked. I'm hoping for like more blood, more better fight scenes. I can't
Hmm.
wait to see everyone.
Yeah, that
But
was the
that
one
does
stark thing that was like new in this was haha, they just decided to throw a bunch of fucking blood in here, baby.
that was like from Samurai X the movie. There was a lot of bloodshed because
Mhm.
Kenshin was killing people.
Hell
So
yeah.
I hope they do like flashbacks of him. I mean, they do it in the show, but like Samurai X was a really good movie.
Mhm.
Um, so I hope they do like more flashbacks of him in the Edo period killing people.
Mhm.
And I just really want to see all of it like finish because I don't think they finished a few arcs in the original.
Yeah, I think I mean it's still going.
Well, it technically would, but it's not anymore.
Is it not?
The manga?
Yeah.
No, I think it finished. I mean,
Really?
I could be wrong, but I haven't like heard anything or like seen anyone talk about new fucking Rurouni Kenshin arcs.
Yeah,
I
let's
think it's finished.
I'm gonna fucking look at this. Ending. Yeah.
Yeah,
Last arc. Yeah, it seems like it is done. Good
yeah.
call. I thought it was still going, but okay.
Now, us. Okay, so I like Rurouni Kenshin. I don't know if you like how you feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I thought it was fine. I like
It-
the idea behind it a lot. I love the idea of the reverse blade. I think that's sick.
yeah, I really like the characters. I
Mm-hmm.
love the characters, the setting, the story. It's all really good, but that comes with a caveat.
Yep.
And the
Sure does.
caveat is the guy who created Rurouni Kenshin is a guy, right?
Yep.
He is a convicted pedophile.
He sure is. In fact, if you look him up on Wikipedia, article like content number 1, early life, content number 2, career, content 2.1, child pornography charges.
He got caught with like a shit ton of child pornography.
The search uncovered 100 child pornography DVDs. My man
Wow.
had physical copies.
He's a fucking snob. He's like, I don't do the digital shit. Fuck.
gotta gotta have it here, and you know. disc
I
form.
gotta, yeah,
Um,
I gotta feel it with my little fingies.
so you would think like, okay, you put two and two together. You say like, all right, so you got like Rurouni Kenshin is has ended. That means that, and like this guy's been convicted like of pedophilia, right?
Yeah.
So that's got to mean the two are related, right? Like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Huh?
No, they're
No.
not. Here's the thing. So number one, Rurouni Kenshin, the original Rurouni Kenshin, is done.
Yeah.
But there is another manga called Rurouni Kenshin: The Hokkaido Arc,
Yeah.
and that's currently ongoing. So from the article under child pornography charges, I do need to emphasize yet again, this is Nobuhiro Watsuki. Under the child pornography charges section, it reads, the serialization of Rurouni Kenshin: The Hokkaido Arc was put on hiatus after the details of Watsuki's charges were made public. In February 2018, Watsuki was fined 200,000 yen,
Again.
or about $1.5 thousand dollars.
No, it's not.
They said, no, no, no. Bad, bad, bad.
That's
Anyway, get out of here, you scamp.
Don't do it again, you
Don't do
fucking
it
scoundrel.
again. That's gross.
Dude. That's gross and you're gross.
It's gross and you're gross. But you know what? You do make a damn fine manga.
That's what the cop said.
Yeah. The detective on the case said, God damn it, I want you to turn in your badge, but you make manga too good.
But god damn it, I want to know how the Hokkaido arc ends.
Yeah, which by the way, so it was put on hiatus, and then it started up again, just like the next year. It was fine.
Okay, so here's the thing. People in Japan, or Japan in general, don't view pedophilia as like a bad thing. I mean, they view it as a bad thing, but not like a bad thing. Like, you can get away with pedophilia in Japan super easy.
Yep. It's like, the thing is, this is based on basically, because it's not like called out publicly. Like, there isn't a law in Japan that says pedophilia is bad, but not that bad.
Yeah.
It's more
It's
like
one of those unspoken.
Yeah, it's whenever you see people that have been charged with things like possession of child pornography or like whatever, like the punishments for them are a lot more lax than they are here in the States or in the Western world. And so there's basically only one conclusion you can come to from that, which is like, it's bad, but
Yeah.
so are other things.
Yeah. There are worse things.
Yeah, he didn't rob a bank.
He didn't go out and do it himself. He just has the videos.
It's fine.
He's just gross. He didn't do anything gross though, but
Yeah.
he's gross.
He's just a fan of gross, and that's okay.
And that's okay in our eyes. Fucking thumbs up, Japan.
Yeah, very weird. Like, I don't want to like categorically say like, I don't know, Japan doesn't really care about pedophilia, but like, you might see something like this, and you're like, hard to not say that.
They don't even label their sex offenders, do they?
That's a good question. I don't fucking know.
I don't think they do. Like, I feel like because I was watching a thing from Joey the Anime Man, and I don't think they do. He was talking like how that's a problem, like in Japan, and just like they have like women only train fucking cars in Japan, like sexual assault and like stuff like that aren't. It's an issue, but it's not like a heavily like, I don't want to say enforced issue, but it's not like something you can get in trouble and be in like jail for like a long time for. Like, there's no heavy prices. It doesn't impact your day to day unless someone recognizes you.
Yep.
So
I like here's a good example. There is an idol singer in Japan who was attacked by two men who tried to force their way into her home, an incident that took place a little while ago. But both were released by the police with no criminal charges filed against them.
Wow.
And the singer herself ended up apologizing for causing a commotion. So like, yeah, shit's maybe a little backwards there in some cases, in some ways, because like the women only train thing isn't like just a Japanese thing either. Like it's also a like a thing in India, I know. So there are like countries where there there's enough societal recognition that like it's pretty dangerous to be a woman. Here's a way that we can protect women. But then at the same time, they're like, yeah, we're going to protect women, but also we're not. You can't ruin the life of this guy. He owns a McDonald's. Who's going to run the McDonald's when he's in jail?
What? It's like this is like a joke too. Fucking people that are like lolicons, like not like in the the gothic wear, but like liking little girl word. They're joked on. They're just like, you're a lot like it's a joke in anime. You like little girls, don't you? You fucking scamp. You're a pervert, aren't you? Just
yeah.
It's we're laughing about it, but boy, it's fucked up.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's like one of those God, who is it? Brock Turner, who was a convicted rapist here, from Stanford, got a very light sentence. And one of the reasons everybody, like some people were talking about him and saying,
boys be boys.
Oh, he's got this ruling is going to have a severe impact on his future. It's like, go fuck yourself, dude. Like he's a rapist. It should.
Yeah. He sexually assaulted someone, got caught, convicted. He's guilty.
Yeah.
But he's got a bright life ahead of him. We don't want to impact that. Good.
You don't know all the stuff that he could be doing if he wasn't
probably
with all this baggage now.
Probably assaulting more people. He's a bad person.
Yeah. I don't want him to have a good time.
Yeah. Fucking impact his life.
Good.
Fuck, it was his fault. He thought he was hot shit and could do shit. Well, like, turn the tables. Now he can't. Fuck. Like, that's so stupid. And that brings us to our next topic of Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah.
Can you separate the art from the artist?
Yeah. So this is like, Rurouni Kenshin is going to be coming out. Again, like the Rurouni Kenshin, the Hokkaido arc is still coming out. Made by the same guy. Still connected. Not there's no punishment for this. Like they're just going for it.
They didn't buy out the property. This man's still getting paid.
Yeah. So this new anime, for sure he's getting royalty rights for it.
Of course, it's
like this is along the same lines of like not only, can you support the new Rurouni Kenshin anime, but there's like a bunch of creators that this like becomes a question for, because J.K. Rowling is a TERF. Can you support Harry Potter shit now?
The new game, yeah.
Yeah, can you support the new game? Can you support like any of the whatever Fantastic Beasts movies? Not that they're good.
Any of the movies. Can you support all of them? And like I think I was reading that like she plagiarized a lot of stuff for the Harry Potter movies.
Probably.
So like, can you go back in good faith and watch all that knowing what the creator has done or is? So, spoilers for me, because we talked about this before, but I can enjoy things. I know some bad people. I like the Harry Potter. I can enjoy all that stuff, all the movies and games. And I can enjoy it while still thinking the creator who's done bad things is a piece of shit. And I guess, what is it called? I may be, I guess, quote, giving them money, but I like the thing enough that I can separate it. That's why I'm gonna watch Rurouni Kenshin when it comes out, because I like the show too much to have it hold me back.
And that's like a, that's a thing that I basically think you have to make make a call on yourself.
Yeah.
Because the question is not so much, this guy is an asshole. Can you put that out of your mind while you're watching this? It's like, do you feel strongly enough about this that you um, can that you are willing to try and make an impact? So, I mean, and this like I can give you a bunch of examples of people where like it has come to light that they're a piece of shit. I stop engaging with the things that they make.
Uh-huh.
And that's because I think it's important to like show people that especially if they're like on a smaller scale, if they're um so like JonTron, right? I don't watch
Yeah.
any more JonTron videos.
Yes.
Once he came out and was like, "Oh yeah, black people commit more crime because of their race." Like
Yeah.
that's what my man said, and I was
Mm,
like, "Wow, this is pretty shitty." And then he like basically was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna fucking keep quiet about my opinions from now on." And I was like, "Good, do that." And
yeah.
I haven't watched a JonTron thing since. And then I was like, I don't know, maybe JonTron has like learned something. Maybe things are different. And then he came out with some fucking anti-vax shit like a
Oh
year ago,
God.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, JonTron still sucks. So yeah, no, I won't watch anything else from JonTron, and that's an impact that I can have. Like I not only am I not like giving one view, I'm also not talking about him like to my friends to be like, I recommend you go watch this. This is like a funny thing, or like making any JonTron like jokes or whatever, right? So like I'm doing my best to minimize the amount that creator sort of has an influence on my life, and as a result, I have an influence to like propagate this creator to like my friends and family and people that I talk to. That's what I can do. Sort of on like, and that's a smaller scale thing.
Yeah.
If you scale this up, that's when you start to break into things like my wife is ethically vegan because of the exact same reason. Like the factory farm industry is horrific for animal rights abuse. Like a lot of animal farming like hurts the environment in such a way that like you know, if you reduce your consumption of meat even by like once a week, it ends up having a pretty big impact, right?
Yeah.
But once we scale up to that, my brain stops thinking, "Oh, I'm having an impact." Um,
Yeah.
Instead, I'm thinking, I'm just stopping doing this whenever like I don't believe that there's actually an impact happening because of my particular choices. And it's the same thing with things like, oh, you know, I have both of the cars that we have now are like hybrid electric and gas vehicles. And the reason why is because A, I think that shit's cool. And B, guess what? I don't have to buy gas except for like once every 3 months. And that's pretty fucking sick. I did not buy the car for environmental reasons.
Yeah.
Like I bought like that's incidental to me, but that's a thing that my wife is into. And so like it's just like whenever you start to get up to things that are that big, when you're like, oh, how are we going to save the planet? I'm like,
Happy
my
Planet.
view is like, oh, you know, I'm gonna because my wife recycles, because my wife like tries to do things that are like more sustainable or whatever. Incidentally, I'm leading a more sustainable lifestyle. If I was on my own, I probably wouldn't be doing those things, and that's because I truly believe that like the impact that me and my family are having on this sort of industry that is like leeching resources from the earth and ruining the place that we live in order to like satiate this like capitalistic need to continue making money and more money forever and ever. All of that, I don't think my impact and my family's impact on that is enough that like I need to be putting in a lot of brain power and effort and like money into doing this. What would be a lot more impactful if fucking we stopped leaking oil into the ocean. If we
Yeah.
like all of the mega tankers that ship goods around the earth. Wow, if we like all of a sudden convert those over into like whatever electric ships or some shit. Like that's a really big impact. If our grids were more sustainable, if they like if you could turn on and off generators, even that would be a big deal, to be able to like automatically monitor power usage and turn on and off like these like big coal powered generators to like do some shit. So like all of these things are big. These are like the government has done a thing. Fucking, there are regulations on an industry. There are initiatives for giving more money so that scientists can research and can find like a better way to make batteries. That way it's easier to like store power and to make electric engines. Like all of that shit is, to me, beyond my control. Like I can vote for things, I can donate to those causes, but I don't think that like if I order Italian food and I recycle the plastic lid on it, that I'm actually having an impact.
Yeah.
And this is like the sort of like, but I start to draw the line at enjoying publicly and promoting a piece of art from somebody that I consider to be a piece of shit. I am very lucky that I've never been into Kanye West, because Kanye West, especially in the past month, has been sucking the biggest of dicks.
That is so true. Although I do like that one song, or two songs, I'm sorry, from Kanye West, and that's mostly because the fucking "One Piece is Real" meme has gotten me into that song "Dark Fantasies."
Yeah,
And
I mean, he's like he's put out some cool music. He's put out some good stuff. I really enjoyed Runaway. Runaway is like a really fucking weird movie that has some like great music and stuff inside it. And then fucking yesterday he was like, "Oh yeah, George Floyd didn't die because like a policeman kneeled on his neck. He died because of fentanyl." He fucking is repeating these like
what?
These right-wing talking points that have been disproven time and time again, just because he's like he's now in there. He wore a White Lives Matter shirt. He was like, Black Lives Matter is a scam and always has been. Fucking, he's hanging out with Candace Owens, noted racist. So like, it's crazy. It like he's a fucking madman, and
Crazy.
it's so, because I'm on Reddit and I see people in the Kanye, they are all melting down. Half of them are like, "Oh God, I can't support this man anymore." The other half is like, "He's having a bad period right now. Somebody really needs to get him back on his medication." It's like, no, this is who Kanye, like being bipolar and like going through like manic and depressive periods does not make you a crazy racist anti-Semitic piece of shit. That's who you are on the inside, that you hold back, and then when you're in a crazy manic period, you just let that shit fly. You're like, "I'm cool, look at all this cool stuff I believe."
I believe Kanye has just always been crazy. Like, he's always thought these outlandish things.
Yeah.
Like, even when he wasn't as popular, he didn't say it out loud as much back then, but he still was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's why I'm not a big Kanye fan. I just like two of his songs, and I can put aside. I could not think about him while I'm listening to the two songs, and one of them is fucking, I think, Alien with him and Katy Perry.
Yep.
And
I get it.
I just those two songs that are on my list. I can turn my brain off and be like, it's not Kanye. It just sounds like him.
And I mean, like, I imagine that like if this is somebody that you really enjoy, somebody who's like media you consume, especially music is a hard one, because it's like, if it's somebody that you're super into, like a band that you listen to all the time, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, it turns out this guy sucks." Like, how many Lost Prophets fans stopped listening after it turns out that the main guy not only is a pedophile, but like an active like child rapist?
Yeah.
Like, how many people stopped? It should have been all of them, but I know it wasn't.
Yeah, there's a few, like, dude, there's so many like documented cases where people are like, "Oh, they're so fucking good, and I'm gonna keep listening to them," and then they found out and they're like, "Oh, that's fucked up. He's still good.
It's fine."
Like, dude, he is a fucking psycho. I watched like a whole thing about him, and I'm gonna say I'm glad that I didn't grow up like knowing all of his stuff. I liked the one song that was on Madden.
Yeah.
And like that was the last train home, and that song's not good enough for me to want to hear it or like find it because he's like on nothing. That any of his albums are on nothing. You have to actively look for it
Mm-hmm.
to find it. So like that's one of the things where I'm like, yeah, that guy is a monster. He hearing the things and reading the things he said, I'm like, this is the one thing where I'm like, I will never listen to any of his stuff because he's a fucking monster.
Yeah. And
Like,
like it starts to that starts to beg the question of like where is the line? What is too far? Like what do you think? Like what do you think about what thing is so far that you've like thrown them away effectively as a person who's an influence in your life? And like for people that line is different. Some people, as soon as you hear the JK Rowling is a turf, you're like, oh well, that's it, I don't fucking need him anymore. And that's the
yeah,
case for me. But like, you know, people make an argument where it's you know, a lot, especially like the new Harry Potter game is coming out, right?
yeah,
It's like it's sort of an open world type game where you're like learning magic, you're at Hogwarts, you're doing quests and shit, like, and that's something that people have been asking for since Harry Potter was a fucking thing, right? Like,
yeah.
I want to
Make
make
your
my
own
own
character,
wizard. I want to like learn stuff in
explore.
Hogwarts and play Quidditch and shit.
Yeah,
And then you basically have a game that is like promising to deliver you on all these things, you know, let
yeah,
alone let's set aside the fact that like it's probably over promising and going to under deliver.
of
um
course.
Assume that it was great, like assume that it's actually going to do those things. uh People are arguing like, oh, this boycott of JK Rowling is like you're effectively throwing away all of these developers' hard work. They've worked in this game for years and years, and now because one person is shitty to trans people, you're gonna like not enjoy their work. They're
Yeah,
not gonna be
enjoy
able to like, yeah, to work on stuff anymore, and this isn't gonna like be a big hit for the development studio. Like a lot of crazy shit, right?
that's one of the things too. Going back to Roroni, like
Mhm,
he created it and he wrote the manga and stuff,
mhm,
but I'm not gonna boycott it because like there is a lot of like artists and animators that go into making it, and it's
mhm.
not their fault that he's a piece of shit. And it already sucks to be an animator and uh like artists in Japan because they're very underpaid.
Yeah.
To boycott a show because one person was a piece of shit, like they probably didn't have a say that they were going to do it. They were probably in the studio that's producing it, and they
Mhm.
have to do it.
Yep.
So for me to down like to shit all over them because he was a piece of shit, I can take him out of the equation. And because he is not animating it, he's not doing anything but providing the story.
Yep.
So I can separate that because I know he has nothing to do with anything besides like the story or the storyboards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
can
the argument is that like if you're not supporting it, if you're not talking to like other people about it, less people will support it as a result of you not supporting it. Or I guess more people will not support it, I guess.
yeah,
And that's like that's less money in his pocket. That's telling the anime studio, that's telling the people that make the manga, that's telling like that's a way to communicate via capitalism. Hey, things that are like this particular property is no longer viable. And then that starts to like you typically, if you're a business, that starts to like launch, okay, let's look into this. Why is this not performing well anymore? Oh, it's because a lot of people on the internet say this man's a piece of shit. And they're specifically boycotting and like they're like, oh, well, this is bad. I'm not going to participate in it. Which is like all of those things, great. The main thing is like the argument against that is that does a company give a shit? And are you actually making an impact? Because does a company, so for instance, like if if you find out that whatever McDonald's has like this new burger, and this new burger is made out of, let's say, penguins. That's an animal that people like.
Yeah.
So this new penguin burger comes out, and McDonald's is like, why did the penguin burger perform badly? Are they going to put two and two together that people are boycotting it because they like penguins, or does the burger taste bad?
Yeah.
Does it give people the farts? Right? Like, there are any number of reasons that people stop enjoying a piece of media. For instance, if people are
Media.
boycotting the Rurouni Kenshin anime, is it because the animation is bad? Is it because like it's released at a bad schedule? Is it because people are boycotting the creator? Like, it could be any of those things, and then it's up to 2 or 3 people, or at max 30
Yeah.
people, like in a business, to figure out why, to draw like a conclusion from all of the data, and then to to have like your will as a consumer be like, I do not like this piece of media because of this consumer, or because of this like producer of media. If you lose this producer, I will continue consuming and you can have more of my money. That is a hard thing to communicate because you can't do it directly. And they just have to infer a bunch of shit. You're playing like a giant societal wide game of telephone that you're really hoping somebody is going to get on the other end, and it almost never works out. So like, if you're hoping to have like a result because of your actions, it very rarely works out that way, and it's like, it's a very unsatisfying thing. But like, personally, it's like, I'm doing what I can, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah. So are you gonna watch the show, or?
No. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
I didn't watch the original Rurouni Kenshin, so like,
Ah, bummer.
no. I
was
don't
gonna
give
say,
enough
well,
of a shit to even try.
I was gonna say you should watch the original, but you're not. That's fine.
Yeah, even the original, I'm like, man. I mean, the thing is, the reason why, like, I'll consume media from people that like are massive pieces of shit, so long as they're dead. Because they can't benefit from it anymore. And so I'm like, oh, this is a pretty easy way to say, hey, I like this piece of media, I just fucking hate that guy.
Well, I mean, are you gonna hate me if I do it?
No. I mean,
Oh, okay, good.
it's everybody's personal decision. Like, I don't agree with it, but like, what am I going to do? Like,
Well, I do a couple of things that you don't agree with.
true.
I'm gonna watch Rurouni Kenshin because
Mhm.
man, I really like Rurouni Kenshin.
I
I'm
really
sorry.
like, I like Rurouni Kenshin more than that guy likes kids.
I know it sounds fucked up. I'm sorry. It's just I really really enjoy the story and the characters, and it looks so good. I can't.
Man,
But
every time you're watching Rurouni Kenshin and you see a child on screen, you're gonna go, ugh, no,
I'll,
no, don't do that.
no, I'm gonna turn my brain off when I'm watching it. I'm like, it's just a show. It's a show.
It's created by, no one knows who the creator is. They've never unveiled themselves.
So like I'll like be doing that. I watched JonTron, but like lately, like, and this is probably like good for you, but I don't know if like people understand. Like his episodes they haven't been that great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just some of the things like he done, like every once in a while he'll make a funny joke, but I don't find him as funny as I did like when I was like his old stuff, when it was just like him by himself. Now he's got a big huge production crew,
Yeah.
and I kind of don't. I watch it out of habit when
Mm-hmm.
he drops a new episode, but like I find myself like not going back to it. So like the
Yeah.
old episodes, like I'm like, wow, these were way funnier.
Yeah.
And now that he has this bit, like I don't even know what he does when he's not doing a video, like how he has this big like production crew, and he makes like 3 videos a year. I like he has
Yeah.
to be doing something else.
Yeah. I think the thing is, for someone like JonTron, like Nile Red talked about this on the Trash Haze podcast. He said that whenever he releases a new video, there's a spike for about a week in like views and revenue, and then it just goes back to a consistent level. So it's almost as if he doesn't even need to make new videos. Like, if you're making consistently $5,000 to $6,000 a month based off of just your old videos, why the fuck would you make anything anymore?
I mean, I guess yeah, but like to pay the people and what's it called? Like, how does he live day to day just off the revenue of his old videos?
That's the thing, is like, if JonTron didn't have a big filming staff and didn't like make like, he's probably making new videos, and he probably has a big filming staff now because his old videos make so much. And so he can afford to have a production crew. He can afford to have an editor. He can afford to have studio space. And so, like, imagine if JonTron wanted to, I guarantee you he could just stop right now. Like him, there's probably a bunch of YouTubers that like could just stop and be done. And the reason why they make new videos is because they want to make new videos. And so like,
Yeah.
and also, you know, you release a new video every once in a while just so that you can remind people, hey, remember JonTron's a thing? Go watch my old videos. Keep giving me money.
Yeah. Fucking that's always what happens. I'll see a new video, I'm like, that was all right. But I really like these old ones, so I'll go watch an old
Yeah,
one.
you're like, oh, let me go watch the fucking the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one or whatever.
Yeah, let me go watch the Halloween episode because it's
Yeah.
Halloween right now. But fucking I guess because like they want to stay like big YouTubers want to stay relevant, so they get paid a little bit more. I'm not gonna say any names because I don't really know. I'm not like PewDiePie because like I don't know if you like him or not, but I watch him.
Hmm.
I watch him and like his videos lately are like he's really slowed down. Like he moved to Japan, now it's him just doing stuff in Japan, and it's fine, but it's not like how it used to be. Like you can
Yeah.
tell he's actively like slowing down, but he's not stopping yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's filming what he wants to film and putting out videos like he wants to put out. And like PewDiePie said the N word on a stream. That's like not great.
Yeah.
It's like not a good thing.
Yeah, it's a big gamer moment.
Yeah, but I'm
And,
not like, I haven't ever really been a PewDiePie fan, so I didn't have to have that come to Jesus moment. Whereas like a creator like Vinny from Vinesauce, who's a streamer, like prolific streamer, very like a long time streamer, like from back in like livestream.com days. He basically had some accusations that came out from fans that were like, oh yeah, he's pretty bad at like he's fucked his fans a lot, and
Oh,
he'll fuck a fan and then like ghost them, and he like if there's somebody that's like working with him, he'll be like, oh, I'd like to see your tits, and he's like denied all of this, but then like people that used to work with him are like, oh yeah, Vinny's a real piece of shit, but like for that one in particular, like I've done my best to do as much research as possible, and it's still inconclusive as to like what is true and what is not. It sounds like some of it is true. It sounds like he definitely has probably fucked some fans, which like that's a
yeah.
power imbalance, and that's not a cool thing to do. For future reference, if anybody here is a content creator and you have a fan that wants to fuck you, that's not a cool thing to do anymore. So like, don't do
Yeah,
that.
it never was a cool thing.
Yeah, but
Um,
like, you know, Rockstar's fucking groupies is like a very, you know, a thing.
they don't do that like much anymore. I don't hear about that often
Yeah,
or at like almost ever
yeah,
anymore.
they're probably smart enough to not talk about it, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, not a cool thing to do. And so like that probably has happened, but like there's specific emails that were like where he was like being weird and like, oh yeah, I know that you just sent me this art, but also send me your tits. Ha ha ha.
Oh God, a lot of artists I see fucking doing that. Like fucking what's his name? Something Bob. Uh, on Twitter was an animator, and he was outed as a big fucking creepo,
Yeah.
and no one likes him anymore. And actively, like he's not on Twitter anymore.
Yeah. And
So
like
there's
the thing is that particular email from Vinny though was sent while he was streaming. Like you can see, like you can go into his VOD and be like, he is on mic talking in the middle of this, like in the middle of this game that he's playing when this email is supposedly sent. So it's like, okay, well that's probably fake and somebody trying to be like a shithead, but like the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. He's probably fucked some fans. He probably isn't that much of a creep.
yeah.
And as a result, it's like that's one of those moments where I'm like, I don't know, is that enough for me to stop watching this person? Is that enough for me to like stop ingesting their content? And for the most part, I have. But like, I don't know. He's like changed his content. He's done a bunch of different stuff, and so it's like, I don't know how I feel about that because, especially whenever it comes to like sexual assault stuff, the default is to like believe the person who has made the accusation. Reason
Well,
being, like, it is women are like it is very much to a woman's detriment to accuse someone of sexual harassment because and I know that like a lot of guys are going to be like, ah, fuck that. Like anytime that you're accused of sexual harassment, it's like everybody dogpiles on the dude. But like same thing happened to women, but worse because people get really violent on women. And so like
the thing about Vinny, like, did he sexually assault someone, or was he just having sex with fans and ghosting them, being a creep?
that one.
Because there's a difference.
Yes,
Like,
there is a difference.
it is like douchebag behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but like, it all depends on, you're like, well, yeah, that's really shitty that he's doing that, but
Yep.
like they're consenting, right?
Yeah.
He's just being an asshole
Yep.
afterwards.
That's what it seems like.
I kind of, I can see why people would still watch him. They're like, hey man, that's asshole behavior. You need to, stop that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was the latter where he was sexually assaulting people, yeah, I could see not like wanting to partake in that anymore. But I don't know. I've never seen. I don't watch Vine Sauce.
Yeah.
And in the case with Pewds and him saying the N word, I I wasn't watching him when he said that. Like, I wasn't his fan.
Mm-hmm.
I only became a fan through my ex, who was a fan of him,
Mm-hmm.
and she showed me some of his videos, and I was like, oh yeah, funny. I never watched him because I of old perception of him being annoying,
Mm-hmm.
which he was
He
very
was. Oh
annoying.
yeah.
And then like his content changed. I'm like, oh, he's actually pretty funny. And now he's like real slowed down. But like, I didn't have that gotcha moment. I don't think the only gotcha moment I've ever had was John Tron,
Yeah.
and it's it is what it is with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
I don't know. It's it is all up to like whether or not you believe that like you're having an impact and that the things that you're doing matter.
yeah,
And
well,
it's hard to make that decision for yourself, like because
for
you're effectively being like, I'm gonna deny myself this thing that I enjoy in order to try and make the world a better place. And does that feel better to me than the satisfaction that I get from ingesting this?
yeah,
And
in
that's
the
a personal
in
thing.
the in the case of like JonTron or like PewDiePie, if I stopped watching them, it wouldn't change a damn thing. They're too big and people are gonna watch them.
That's the
Which,
thing is like,
if people had the same mindset like that you do, and that then and there was a noticeable drop in their quality, then yeah, it would be easy not to consume their content. But
mhm,
like, if like, say, just to like right now at this moment, I go and unsubscribe from them and I stop watching their stuff entirely,
mhm.
and people who associate with them, because I watch like Cinnamon Toast Ken, and he always has Pewds on. Uh, if I if I just stopped watching all their content,
Mhm.
it wouldn't stop them from getting millions of views, like millions of views.
Yep.
So like, that's the thing for me. I'm like, the cause and effect isn't, I'm just one person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the cause for
And
me.
that's fair, right? Like I think that so that's my exact same reason why I'm not vegan. Like my wife and I my wife probably admittedly knows more about being vegan and about like animal rights issues than I do. Because they like read more about sustainability and like what best practices are nowadays and stuff like that. But like that's the reason why I'm not sort of like taking that stance to like modify my diet in like a crazy major way to try and have like a very small impact, is because like it doesn't really matter like what I do
Yeah.
to me
But
on a
y'all,
scale that's that big. Whereas
yeah,
for somebody like, if JonTron has a video that comes out that's like 1 million views, that's I have taken away 1/1 millionth of the amount of views that he's going to have.
yeah.
But
That's
Like,
not like even a penny of revenue taken away from him.
yeah, it's not even close. And like, is that worth it? And the answer to me is yes. But the other
That's
thing is
fair.
like, it's whenever you start to consider having I guess the term would probably be like your network of influence, like
Yeah.
because you're talking about like, oh yeah, did you see the latest JonTron, did you see like the latest fucking nostalgia critic video, like, oh, it was really good, like if he puts out something that's really good and you're like, oh yeah, it's actually really funny, and then you send it to people and people are like, oh yeah, oh cool, like yeah, I had no idea about this. So like whenever I sent you like Wacky Weekend, right?
Yeah.
If it turned out that Chris Broad was a rapist, like
Oh
you
no.
wouldn't like you'd be like, oh god, I had this whole channel that I was like I wanted to get into, and if I didn't tell you that, and then like all of a sudden now that's one additional view for a shit ton of his videos, which adds up, right?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, if you think about like your influence that you have on people, now is it worth it? And it may not be still, but now like
I
let's say that you're popular. Let's say that like people listen to this let's say that like fucking
yeah.
every episode that we put out 10,000 people listen per episode.
Nice.
If we say like, man, you know what's a really great old band that everybody should check out is Lost Prophets, then
No.
like that's a critical fuck up on our part, because
Yeah.
that's like 10,000 people where even if it's just 5%, that's still like a rather significant portion of our audience that we're pointing at a pedophile, right? And that's
Yeah.
like once you start to like have like a larger sphere of influence, everything that you recommend, everything that you say has to come under scrutiny, because like you in particular, like if you're if we had like 10,000 people that were listening to us, and you were like, I'm going to watch the latest Rurouni Kenshin, and that's definitely going to give the creator money, and I don't care. That's something where people would maybe like, hey, can you fucking care a little bit, actually?
Well, okay, like here's the thing. Let's say we did get big. Uh I probably wouldn't go around saying I watched it, even though I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have enough like sense to know that no, people won't appreciate me like talking and bringing that up for
Mm-hmm.
Rurouni Kenshin. I don't condone what he did, but I would watch it and know enough not to tell people.
Yeah.
And another thing I about having the network of people, because like I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't talk to anyone about anything I like watch like creator wise other
Mm-hmm.
than you, and it's something that if I share something with you, it's usually something that I know we both enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not like sitting there. I'm like, oh, did you watch Nostalgia Critic, or fucking did you just watch fucking Connor Dog, Sea
Yeah.
Dog VA with fucking Iron Mouse? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't like watch a thing and like, hey man, it's usually just TV shows,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that the people that we talk to aren't like really stoked about Rurouni Kenshin, so I
Mm-hmm.
probably won't talk about it like a whole lot. Like they will know that it'll have come out, and I just want you to know that I'm gonna watch it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, as shitty as that sounds, I don't go into fandoms and like have big discussions with people when I watch stuff. I usually
Yeah.
watch it and keep it to myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know what that says about me, or
And I
I
mean,
don't know.
I feel like if the reason for doing so, like, because obviously, I don't know, the immediate reaction, if like imagine God, imagine the fucking bright, brilliant future in which we have a live show and fucking a bunch of people show up and we have a Q&A,
Oh
and somebody is
God.
like, hey, did you watch fucking Rurouni Kenshin? And you're like, oh yeah, I watched it. We just didn't we haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
And then that starts an online discussion of people being like, oh, fucking this guy actually supported a rapist. You didn't want anybody to know. He's fucking hiding it from us. And like the reason then is like, the question then is like, oh, are you hiding it from people because you're ashamed and you don't want anyone to know? Or are you hiding it from people because like you don't think that you watching it or not has a big impact, but you know that not recommending it does, and that's the step that you want to take? I
Yeah.
feel like that's like, it's sort of an important distinction to make, and I don't know, it's kind of
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing to me.
Well, yeah, let me make that distinction now, because like if we ever did fucking get pop super popular, they're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, fucking episode 55, fucking you remember Thies saying that he was gonna watch Rurouni Kenshin, and I'm sure he did and never talked about it. Let's fucking put him on the spot." And if like we're doing like a Q&A and be like, "Yeah, yeah, I watched it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I'm not gonna go out and tell you to go watch it, and I'm not gonna support it because I don't condone the creator's behavior, but I do like the IP enough to where I watched it myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not supporting it by sharing it with people, leaving the decision up to you,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
to make that distinction, which I think, in my opinion, I think that's a better stance to take. It's not a great stance because of everything, but it is one that I think is almost the middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not going around saying I like I love watching things that bad people make. It's just I I consume media. That's how I consume media.
Mm-hmm.
And if I think it's really good, I will tell people about it. But like in this case, I know a lot of people aren't stoked on the fact that what the creator's done, and I am not going to go around you know telling people to watch it because
Mm-hmm.
of that reason.
Yeah.
Because I know they're gonna know that he's done bad things and be like, well, now you're a bad person, and I'm like, I'm not a bad person. I just really like the IP, man.
I'm not a bad person. I just like Kenshin.
I do. I really do. But and when it comes to Harry Potter, I'm not like a big Harry Potter fan. I didn't watch the what's it called, the Fantastic Beasts movie. It's
Mm-hmm.
stupid, and I'm not gonna watch them, and I'm not invested. I like the movies. I read the first few chapters of the first book, and that's it. I'm not buying Harry Potter merchandise. I don't got robes. I don't got a fucking Quidditch
Yeah,
broom.
you're like, I want to suck Gandalf's dick. Wait, no, he's not in this. Shit. I'm a fake fan.
Oh,
Damn it.
I I just I like the movies. I guess that's it. If they're on TV, I mean, I probably watch it. Maybe not, because the movies are like really long-winded, and it depends on which movie, because some of the movies aren't just like fun or good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's me. I listened to one R. Kelly song, and that's Trapped in the Closet.
Good old trapped in the closet. Man, I tried to kill me out here. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is. He's a very bad person.
He's a super bad person.
And I hate him. I hate him as a person. I despise him. But fuck, Trapped in the Closet makes me laugh my ass off. And that's the thing. I don't watch it. I'm not like, I don't have it on speed dial on my computer. Just every once in a while I'll be like, I kind of want to watch that one video because it's fucking silly.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's how I consume media. Like I sometimes I know, and then even though like when I didn't know that Rurouni Kenshin was a convicted pedophile until y'all fucking told me today.
Mm-hmm.
And now I see it in a different light, but man, gonna watch it. I
Yeah.
you'll never hear me talk about it. I won't tell you anything about it. I will if you don't want me to, and that's fine.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna be real sad about it, but it's okay. It's all right.
I'll keep it deep inside.
Um, that is about all the time we have for this podcast. I do want to mention very quickly, Ludwig, who's a very big YouTuber, did just release a YouTube video titled "I broke into a bunch of famous creators' houses." And it was an entire video where he's selling a bidet that he is sponsoring, and I think that's very fucking funny.
It's
Um,
very Ludwig's a good fucking creator.
he
I
is.
I haven't seen a lot of the things he's done, but every time I do see some of the stuff he puts out, they're actually really funny.
Yeah. And
So,
then somebody is going to use this clip in 2 years, whenever it turns out that the Ludwig actually set a bunch of cats on fire for a video. Thank you all for listening. You can listen to us on any platform that you want to, that where podcasts are. You can also watch the replay of our live Twitch stream. Every time that we do this podcast, we do it live now. You can watch that live at twitch.tv/Go Gettas Pod. There's a notifier. That way you can know whenever we go live. We are inconsistent with whenever we go live. We do it whenever Fee basically has time.
Listen,
and me as well.
The moment we can sustain ourselves with just the popularity of the show is the moment that I dedicate my life to doing the show.
And yeah, just the show. Fee is going to have no job except for the 2 hours it takes to record this podcast. That's it.
Listen, I'll do other if I look right. Mark it down now. If we became mega popular just doing this show, of course I would do my own fucking show on YouTube. I'm having trouble doing it now because I hate editing videos.
Yeah, it's dude, editing videos is hard.
Editing videos fucking sucks. But if we became popular enough that we can monetize equally, then I would hire an editor, and that would put an end to that, and I would put out content like regularly
all the time, and couldn't stop me.
That would mean that I wouldn't have to go to my shit ass job anymore, and I would love that. And we could do
Hey, if you're one of Fee's coworkers, stop listening about a minute ago. Maybe 2 minutes, actually.
The moment we become mega popular, here's the moment I'm gonna realize I'm gonna do a lot more stuff. I'm gonna become an actual content creator, and then I'm sure Colby, his streams, and he'll probably do stuff on his own and still be able to work. But he'll do his coding content. He's already fun to watch.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I have no idea what you're doing, but I like that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, just fucking listen to the podcast however you want to.
Yeah.
The replay of this is going to be up on YouTube at the same time that it is on every other platform. So
I promise they're not all as serious as today's episode was.
No. Some of them are more serious. And some of them we spend 6 hours straight trying to really track down who did 9/11.
It was Waldo.
Damn, that's why no one can find him.
That's why no one could find him. Him and Carmen Sandiego. So yeah, go on all those things. Give us a like, a thumbs up, a follow, a bell, a shell. Go listen. Go do all that stuff. Do every one of them.
Yeah, come on.
And then after you do that, I want you to. Oh God, I was gonna say very bad stuff, but
yeah, think of another one.
I was like, get what's her name, the creator of Harry Potter,
J.K. Rowling. Okay,
J.K. Rowling, and the creator of Rurouni Kenshin, and put them in a room Saw style, and go get them.
Go get them. Yeah, just no details. You just say Saw style, whatever that means to you.
I didn't say anything that could have been anymore.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, you have to be careful about the things that you say, and so you're like, yeah, I would really like to take Greg Abbott on a boat into the middle of the ocean and then get on a helicopter and fly back to land myself. Nothing bad happens to him, maybe. I don't know. I left the boat.
There are in the boat, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we ran out of gas. I don't know.
I didn't say how far we would go, and I didn't say he was in hurt even.
Yeah, he's fine, maybe.
I'm not incriminating myself. They are just in a Saul-style situation and having a good time.
Listen, he is Schrodinger's Texas governor. Is he living or not? We'll never know.
Yeah. Was he ever alive? I don't think so.
Yeah, can you prove it?
Yeah. If the earth can be flat, why can't he not exist?
Yeah, Greg Abbott is the turtle that's carrying the entire world. Okay.
Bye. All right, bye. Later.